is into three parts, three categories. So repetitive activities. So the first one is repetitive activities. Second one is decision support activities. Third one is strategic thinking. Let me get into each one of them. Repetitive activities are activities we do month, week, every day, every week, every month, every year. Like, most of the things you do, like, your record keeping, your, inventory management, your, accounts receivable and payable, and so on and so forth. All of that are basically, automated or getting automated, if not automated already. So the technology is going to take care of all of that for you. Now, let's move on to the second one, decision support activities that we do. Capital investment decisions. Like, for decision support, you're going to have a lot of data. You're going to basically put that data through a framework, and you're going to get the answer through that. If you basically take a capital investment decision as an example, you basically get the cash flow information, through the data you have. You're going to put into an NPV model, and you're going to get the calculation out, and you're going to basically say, yeah, good investment or bad investment based on the outcome of that model. So there is a process for that. There is a framework for that. There is a lot of data for that. This is where you're going to spend most of your time now. This is where I spend most of my time basically during the last 10, 15 years before I moved out of finance. But these activities are also going to get automated because AI can easily do these things in an automated way. A strategic thinking is where AI hasn't developed to that extent in its current form, so and might not be able to do it. So things this is where you don't have any previous data. This is where you don't have any previous experience and no previous judgment. So you need to basically use your critical thinking, critical judgment to make these decisions. Things like company planning, future planning. So you might not have basically a framework for that. If you want to basically evaluate a company, you might not have basically previous data for that. This is where you might not be able to use technology in its current form today. So your organizations that you're going to go into be in one of these boxes. Most advanced organizations, if you go into a most advanced organization, you will probably do most of the activities in last strategic thinking box. If you go into a semi-automated organization and accountants still do some of those activities, you might probably focus on the middle box. And by the time you get, most of the activities might be probably automated, so you might not see a lot of manual activities, but there might still be organizations there. But more and more organizations are moving to the far right. So what are the skills you're going to need as an accountant? I think there are three things, right? So the first and foremost, you need to understand your fundamental skills. Skills like financial accounting, tax, strategy and governance frameworks, law and economics. These are going to be absolutely critical for you to apply them in the workplace. What you're learning through your degree program, what you're learning through your CA or chartered accountants, if you're doing that, or CIMA or any other professional qualifications, they are fundamental for your success in the future. So what is in the middle box is practical experiences. You need to basically learn these skills, core fundamental skills, and apply them in the workplace. Gain practical experience through that. What you learn in your book might not necessarily be the way these things are applied in the workplace. So it is absolutely critical to understand how you apply these things in the workplace, how you can probably learn from those practical experiences in the real world. So once you basically have that, you're going to basically gain a few set of skills that are going to be absolutely critical for your future. Most important one is the insights and analytics ability to basically generate insights from data that you basically get through automation. That is going to be an absolutely critical. How do you basically get data? You will get data. How do you synthesize that and basically make a meaningful decision? How do you? And then second one is the technology and cybersecurity. How technology is impacting different areas is a skill that you need to probably have to understand. What your organization should do and shouldn't do. Cybersecurity is a very important area. Everything is going to be digital. Everything is going to be online, and cybersecurity is a pandemic, in fact. And in most of the large economies, this is basically bigger than COVID-19. Communication, and no matter what you do, communication is an absolutely must have a skill, and you should know how to communicate in a very, very meaningful way, in a way that people can understand. And obviously navigating the world is a critical skill that you need to probably have, moving from your university to the workplace, and then obviously moving overseas if you choose to do so, and into different cultures and different organizations. You should be able to navigate those areas easily. So moving on to the next one, this is where I'm going to basically kind of share my experience seeing the evolution of finance function over last 30 years. When I finished my A level and first got into the auditing function or the accounting function, so I started off around early 90s, and I joined EY Colombo as a trainee. Most of the audit clients that we went to had a manual system of recording. There was a manual, GL or general ledger, and the accounting function basically looked after the record keeping and bookkeeping of those ones back in the day. You might probably not be able to picture what it was, but it was a big book, and someone basically wrote and entered entries into it, and there were basically manual vouchers and things like that in box files that they basically kept. So with the advent of computing, and obviously mainframe computing became cheaper around that time, most of the large organizations started getting into automating stuff, getting into IT systems. AS400, IBM basically had this massive AS400 system that was a very popular thing in late 90s, and most of the large organizations started using that, and they started basically moving manual records to the system records. So the accounting function became more or less basically taking care of system recording at that time. And then the computing, obviously, as per Moore's law, the PC revolution came through, and every function basically started getting computers. Most of the stuff basically started getting basically distributed into different functions, and the system recorder became a source of truth in organizations. Accountant basically was the person who was basically providing the numbers for everyone in the organization. And then we saw the advent of mobile and the social media and cloud computing and things like that, and computing power became cheaper, and most of the activities started basically getting automated, like GL activities started getting automated. So finance person that you basically provided all the entry work started becoming using those data points to generate insights. That's where most of the large organizations are today. But with the evolution of computing, we are going to get more faster computers. AI's cost of doing AI is going to be much cheaper. The cost of insight is going to be much cheaper. So next 10 to 15 years, we will probably see algorithms being used for a lot of activities to generate insights and things like that. And most of the applications that we are getting today, like the general ledger applications, the other front-end applications and things like that, have embedded AI already. So you're basically going to leverage that to get insights rather than you doing the insights. So your role will basically change from business partner providing insights to, this is my guess, the business strategist who's directing the organization. And that evolution will continue. So when you get into your first job, when you basically start working, you will, and then probably getting your head around in the workplace, you will probably see this evolution, and obviously you will basically change yourself to suit the needs of the organization. However, it's not going to be the same, role that you started off with. It's going to be a completely different role when you basically in your mid-career, and it's going to be a completely different finance function. So it's a fascinating place to be in. It's even though it sounds a bit vague and scary at times. It's very exciting to be in a place where it's going to basically transform, and you're going to basically be a critical function, critical role in any organization, no matter what technology is going to do for you. No technology will be able to, automate you or the accountant and your brain. However, you should embrace technology and use technology to make things easier for you. That's kind of my perspective on that. Um, um, you're doing a degree, and that's absolutely critical. When I was your age, I basically did my degree, and also I did my CA parallelly as well. You might choose to do CA, you might choose to do CEMA, you might choose to do other professional exams, but what worked for me was my accounting degree plus CA membership I had. I gained so much knowledge through those two combinations, and even today, outside working outside in technology, doing cybersecurity, AI, and things like that, that are basically not bread and butter of a finance person. My finance core skills, the skills that I learned, is the bedrock that I rely on. That is what is basically making me successful even today. So my suggestion is, if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to think about what you want to do with your professional career. Moving on, in conclusion, it was the last day of my high school year, school life, in fact. 3 days before the A-level exam, we met for the last time in our school. You could probably relate to this day. This was kind of the last day in school before the exams. We had a party, we brought in food, we sang songs that day, and it was a bit of a sad day to basically leave school. We were finishing the school life, and everyone basically wished each other for the good luck for the exam that was going to happen in 3 days' time. And our class teacher basically came to the class and made a speech, and very emotional speech, and she gave us a note. A note that said, that had two sides. So it was a postcard, a Sri Lankan style postcard. On one side was a picture of the school, in fact, the picture of the A-level section. On the other side was a note that said, if not you, who? If not now, when? So I'm going to leave with that thought. You are the future of the accounting profession. You are the future of this profession who's going to take this profession to the next level. You're the accountant who's going to transform this profession. You must think about that now, and you must basically have that vision in your mind. If not you, who? If not now, when? Thank you very much.
Actually, Mr. Kumar Paladin accepted our invitation with us, and he contributed a lot to us regarding the artificial intelligence. We have a token of appreciation. We will take the action to each user. I think that we will engage in the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much for your valuable time and significant motivation to us in the artificial intelligence and the future of accountancy. We are always welcome you, sir, in our future events to contribute our society, especially modern. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the invitation.